Welcome back to more high school bowling, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Lacido, stepping in for the Larry Putney, who has taken to the lanes to coach the great Lincoln Pius Thunderbolts. We're getting ready for Class B competition, where we'll have the York Dukes take to the lanes against Pius. Coming off that great Class C match earlier today. We're getting ready for the action now. Bringing you your York lineup, head coached by Brent Gage. Players are David Ginwright, the senior, Bryce Logston, a junior, Colton Rhodes, a freshman, William Gage, a junior, and Matthew Peterson, the freshman. For the Pius Thunderbolts, coached by the Larry Putney, your team consists of Martin Berkey, the senior, AJ Putney, a sophomore, Trevor Thompson, the junior, Jay Burnett, a senior, Alex Stoley, a senior, Calvin Schlaupman, a senior, and Andrew Gibbs rounding out the roster, the junior for Pius. All right, we're getting ready for Class B coming up here in just a few moments. We'll get to the lanes. Who's going to be our Class B champion? We'll find out in just a few moments.
Everyone's walking a path, and most paths are best walked together. Because when we travel together, our lives are livelier, our journey more enjoyable, and the places we'll discover will be simply spectacular. To be in a place like no other that unites you all in a state of wonder. Wouldn't that be nice? Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Baer Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
No matter how you look at it, animal agriculture helps Nebraska's economy. The livestock industry provides increased tax revenues for schools and community services. Livestock enterprises also create jobs while contributing to existing businesses such as local banks and grocery stores. A thriving livestock industry helps maintain our current way of life, but also provides opportunities for the next generation of farm families. The Nebraska Soybean Checkoff helps to raise awareness of the importance of animal agriculture to Nebraska.
Even when I was in Europe painting, I was thinking about Nebraska. It just seemed to make sense to go into each county. Well, lo and behold, there's 93 counties.
Well, that sounded ambitious. Now, I've never wanted to discourage anybody, so I said, well, I think that's a grand idea.
To look at each county and pick out one thing to make a painting of, that's a difficult job.
Coming in March to NET.
Hi, I'm Perry Stoner, inviting you to join the NET Sports Partners Club. With your support, NET brings you hundreds of hours of sports action each year. NET is your home for Husker Volleyball and Big Red Wrap-Up and high school championships in Nebraska. NET is Nebraska's home for sports, and sports partners like you make it happen. Log on to netnebraska.org and explore the benefits of joining. Take pride in knowing your support puts the action in NET sports.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here on lanes 27 and 28 at Sun Valley Lanes to start the Class B competition. We're going to find out who our state champions here in the next best 3 of 5 Baker match. Right, Carla?
Absolutely. We've got two teams that have worked their way through the brackets. York came through winning 3-2 each match, and Pius came through winning 3-0 each match.
Well, Matt Peterson starting it out for the Dukes, goes through the nose, leaves himself a split, but stepping up for the Thunderbolts is Martin Berkey in lane 28.
Berkey, a senior, is heading to Benedictine College in the fall and is going to major in biochemistry. Carries a 3.9 GPA.
Great start by the Thunderbolts. Martin getting a strike to start the match off strongly. Matt's got a difficult split there in the 4-6-10. Probably going to go for 2.
It's a situation where you want to get the count.
Yeah, if that was a field goal attempt, he would have gotten 3.
He got it.
Just doesn't work that way in bowling, though. Moving back over to the Thunderbolts, it's Calvin Schlaupman coming up on lane 28. Our first look at Calvin.
And it's a good look.
Great look. Light pocket strike for Calvin. Gives the Thunderbolts to get started out strong. Coming back to the Dukes. Little wide right for Colton Rhodes. Trying to recover from the split in the first frame. Early double for Pius. Puts them up 14 pins early. All right, Alex Stoley on the right lane, trying to make it a turkey.
He does. Good for him.
What a way to start. That Coach Putney's something down there.
He knows his stuff.
Obviously. Unfortunately for Colton, he is wide right there as well on the left lane, lane 27. Gives 14 pins for the York Dukes in the second frame. Up by 35 pins, the Thunderbolts. A.J. Putney coming onto the right lane. Wow.
Good way to start.
Good way.
Good way to start.
That's a great way to start. William Gage would like to get the Dukes on the board. Little early hook there, Carla.
He pulled that one a little bit, I think, and it just went too far left for him.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of the nerves. A little excited early. Poor Jay Burnett here for the Thunderbolts, though. I'm not sure I want to be the guy that doesn't get the strike.
Right.
Let's see if he can keep it going. Ooh, a little high.
Makeable spare, though.
Yep, out of trouble. Great, strong start for the Thunderbolts. They're up by about 55 early in the first game of competition. Cross lane for Mr. Gage. Leaves just the 6-pin. Dukes have, this is really their second time to get to the finals in history. So actually it's not something that they're accustomed to. Pius, as you know, is a defending champs. And making spares like that.
And Pius, not only a strong team, but also highly motivated, as they are looking to be the first team to win 6 state championships.
6 state championships, wouldn't that be impressive?
That's a lot.
Regardless, York overcame a strong field yesterday at Hollywood Bowl, defeating Hastings, which was the perennial powerhouse, which was a very impressive feat.
But again, York is a team that went 3-2 in each of their matches, and so they're used to these pressure situations where they've got to pull through.
Bryce Logsum left 7-8 there on lane 27. Gives 31 pins in the fourth frame for the York Dukes. But this is David Ginwright coming up. David's going to try to get the Dukes on the board. As you can see, the Thunderbolts are waiting patiently as they had a strong string of strikes early. It's a great shot there. Wow. Yes.
And David's coming after your job, John. He wants to go into sports management and wants to do play-by-play broadcasting.
Well, wonderful. I'm sure he could do that. I'd love to have him up here. It'd be fun. All right, the teams have swapped lanes. We're at the midpoint of our first game in a best 3 of 5 Baker competition. Up by 78 pins in 5 frames, which is strong. Pius now coming on to lane number 27. Great shot there by Martin Berkey, but just didn't carry the 10.
Martin is one of many of the boys in the team who credit Larry Putney for helping them to improve their game, not only physically but also mentally. He says that Larry's done a great job of helping him stay relaxed, stay under the ball with his wrist. A lot of them crediting Larry for improving their game.
Well, Larry was quite the bowler. As you know, he bowled for Nebraska back in the day. I think there was electricity back then. But Matt Peterson, a freshman for the Dukes. Pretty impressive. You know, you're championship on the big show. Like to cover a spare. Ooh.
Well, and not only that being a freshman, but it's also his first year bowling.
Really?
So, yeah, so to be in the state championship your first year is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's definitely an accomplishment. It's pretty impressive. Okay, Calvin Schlotman coming up for the Thunderbolts at lane number 27. Looks like a fairly good shot. They call that the Wally, the Dick Weber Wally.
He says that once he gets on a roll, he can make it a big roll.
All right, well, Colton Rhodes for the Dukes. Colton also a freshman, got a 156 average. type of player that tries to bring the team together, likes the unity, and really at the end of the day, especially in Baker competition, that's what it's about. As you know, as a Nebraska champion, it's no one person can carry the team.
Absolutely. You have to rely on each other in the Baker matches.
Absolutely.
And one of the great things about bowling, we said in our last frame for York, we had a freshman who had been bowling for his first year, and now Colton is also a freshman who has been bowling for 13 years. And so that different levels of experience, but both are able to be contributors to their team and be a reason that they got here to the state championship.
Well, it's one of the great things about bowling. You don't necessarily have to be the tallest. You don't necessarily have to be the fastest.
Absolutely.
It's all about repetition and consistency. So
absolutely.
It's a great thing about the sport. All right, Alex Foley covers the 4-pin.
They're going to stay clean so far.
Yeah, clean game early. We just saw North Bend earlier with the 250 game. Strong game by Pius so far. They could get there as well. But the Dukes trying to get rid of the first game jitters. William Gage going to the cross side, giving the 5-9. All right, the sophomore, A.J. Putney, 185 average coming up on lane 27. A little bit high. Avoids the split.
AJ is one of many, many players in this tournament who are not only good bowlers, but really solid students as well. He carries a 4.0 GPA.
Well, William Gage there for the Dukes, catches the spare. And again, I mean, you know what it's like bowling on TV. It's not easy. It's not like, just a bunch of friends getting together and hanging out and trying to bowl.
Yeah, it's a totally different environment. You're not used to lights being on you in the way that they are and people being, you can see people. You're not used to being able to see people in your peripheral vision. You're used to it being noisy because everybody else is bowling also. You're not used to it being a situation where it's just you throwing a shot and all eyes are on you.
Well, Bryce Logston is getting the Duke settled in there with a nice strike. The junior, the 185 average, is pummeled lane 28. So now Jay Burnett coming up on lane 27. 10 in the pit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the score is a little bit moot at this point. Lincoln Pius is going to be in the 220s or 230s with a strike there for the Dukes. David Ginwright's going to put them in the low 120, 130s, possibly 140. Regardless, it's going to be a strong win by the Thunderbolts. Lightning is striking. Poor Dukes are going to have to regroup. But, in Baker, you throw out that first game, right?
Absolutely.
It's the best 3 of 5 for a reason.
A smart move by Coach Putney to use this opportunity to get Trevor Thompson some shots so that if he is somebody who needs to come in later on as well, he's not cold off the bench. He's found his shot, had a chance to throw a shot in the championship match.
Well, it's David Ginwright. Great shot there, great form. He is 3 for 3 thus far in his deliveries. And, yeah, definitely a player. I mean, he's strong. It was a key strikeout yesterday against Hastings that brought them to the finals here today. So, 232 for Lincoln Pius. It's going to give them the 1-0 lead as David Ginwright for the Dukes throws the last shot. Again, 10 in the pit for a nice 146 game. All right, so the first game is in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Lincoln Pius is up 1-0, 232 to 146. Now, if the Dukes really want to get anything going, they probably need to settle down now, Carla, right?
Yeah, it looks like they have to. They punched it out with 4 strikes at the end there. It didn't help them out in that game, but it's probably done wonders to get the jitters out a little bit, feel like you've gotten yourself into a rhythm and continue the momentum into the next game.
Yeah, Coach Gage is there trying to give him the speech and get him pumped up, and he's quite a player himself. Coach Gage is several 300s and an 800 to his credit, so he definitely knows what he's doing. Hopefully he can get it to these kids and get them going the right way. But Coach Putney over there, looking like the leprechaun from the Lucky Charms box. Got those Thunderbolts off to a strong start. And we're going to try to do a little deja vu, I think, Carla.
One thing you notice about those Pius players is they do a nice job of getting the ball out onto the lane.
Yeah, and that's important.
And you've heard me say that several times today, but it's a key part. If you want to get the ball into a good roll on the lane, you've got to give it a good opportunity to hit the lane in the right way in order to make that happen.
Yeah, it's one of the undervalued aspects of the game. People don't really completely understand. Again, that ball out well in the lane.
I can remember practice sessions laying towels down in the lane, and the job was just get the ball over the towel, get the ball into the lane in a good angle.
Well, Matt Peterson, the freshman, first-year bowler, doing okay for the Dukes. Keeping the ball in play there. Get 7 to get him started. But Calvin Schlotman coming up for the Thunderbolts. Would like to start to extend a lead. The 10-pin there in the corner. Not an easy spare, despite the fact it looks that way. Going cross lane, covers it. So a 13-pin lead early, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame underway. Pius is up 1-0 over Dukes. Colton Rhodes, the freshman, leading the 3-6-10 on the right lane.
Colton has a 298 high game.
That's pretty strong
Yeah.
for a freshman. Impressive.
Get the break.
Yeah, Alex Stoley there a little bit late, I think, on his release. Looks like he had a little extra of that.
These are those
loft
matches,
you're
though,
referring
where even if it wasn't a pretty strike, it was a strike.
I know.
And
So
you
there are no
just-
style points. Last we checked in bowling. Colton going cross lane, missing just inside on the 3-6-10. All right. AJ Putney coming up on lane 27. High flush leaves just the 4-pin. But William Gage up for the Dukes on lane 28. Standing to the far left side, gets on the ball pretty well. Look at that. There we go.
Great shot.
Yeah, there we go.
And sometimes that's all you need to just turn the momentum towards your team. I mean, they started out with 2 opens, but that strike can be just what they need to change their mindset about what's going on in the game.
Yeah, how important would you say that is, Carla, to just kind of get settled in? I mean, is it,
Oh, gosh.
does it make the
It's huge
road
because
easier?
your mind can just play tricks on you, right? And it can just, you can get overwhelmed with everything that's going on in the moment. But if you can calm your brain down, you know that Kevin Costner and For Love of the Game, clear the mechanism. Just calm your brain down and do what you know to do. Just make a good shot.
Well, as you just said about, kind of getting stuff settled in, William Gage did with that earlier strike. Bryce Logston allows it to be a double with that great shot there coming from the left side for the Dukes. But Jay Burnett has other thoughts about that, I'm sure. With a strike there for the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts off to an interesting start. We got a strike, spare, strike, strike.
Heading for that Dutch 200.
The Dutch 200, that's the term for that. But could it be? It is. Wow. It's David Ginwright for the Dukes. He's strong. I mean, he's now 5 for 5 on his shots. 5 deliveries, 5 strikes. Gives them a turkey. So therefore, the match is rather close. Only 6 pins difference, really. As we're at the midpoint in the game, it is the best 3 of 5 Baker competition. So the first team that wins 3 games, and we're using our Baker-style format. So each of these Class A and B teams today will throw 2 frames each. We saw the C and D earlier. They bowl on 4-person rosters, so it's a little bit different in their format. But regardless, you need teammates to make up a team in Baker bowling.
Absolutely. You have to rely on each other.
Yeah, there are no gimmies. So we have 7 pins difference going into the 6th frame now. Pius trying to break the string, and they did. The Dutch 200 is no more.
No more.
And Martin Berkey has put that to rest because it's a double for Pius. But the freshman, Matt Peterson, had to go cross lane, keep the Dukes going, which he does. Great job by the freshman there. I'm sure that's what he needed too. So we're only 17 pins different because of the double by the Pius Thunderbolts.
Spares are so important in a match like this.
Yeah, we saw the boys' matches earlier. All this comes down to the spares. It's crazy.
And it's something that you want to practice on your practice time as well, right? You want to shoot for pins that you're intending to hit. Like I just want to hit the 3 pin. I want to avoid the head pin. I want to hit the 3 pin. Just to practice your accuracy and making sure that you can make the ball do what you want it to do and go where you want it to go.
Absolutely. Well, somewhat of a bad break there for Colton, leaving the 5-7 in the pocket. Not an easy spare, but really Alex Stoley for the Thunderbolts could help seal this game up some with another strike. Ooh. Ring pen.
Ouch.
Yeah, that was a good shot.
One of the most frustrating things in bowling.
So close. Absolutely so close. Could it be? Oh, almost. Had the right idea. Colton tried to do the right thing there.
You talk about the mental game and needing to stay calm. It's one of those things that's much harder to coach than the physical game. Coaches can give you lots of drills to do for your physical game and give you pointers on your swing and your release and your slide, but being strong mentally is something that is more sensitive and it's harder to coach, and it's one of those things though that can really help you overcome a lot of situations.
Absolutely. And some of that's obviously based on experience, right? I mean, more that you're in these situations. I mean, think about it. For these guys, the freshmen, being here this early can only help them later,
Absolutely.
Right? Of course, if, Pius has had the great fortune of being here before, as you know, as you mentioned, they're going for their 6th state championship, which would be a record if they can do that today. And the Dukes, unfortunately, this is only their 2nd time here. So they don't have that experience. So,
right.
Of course, mentally it's much more of a challenge, and, the nerves are stronger. But it is what it is. So it all comes with that experience. And A.J. Putney covering up the spare. And what's kind of interesting, I'm noticing, is that Pius is also clean this game. So they're making their spares. And
absolutely.
And you mentioned that earlier as well, that, spares are very, very important. So that's probably why could be number 6.
Absolutely.
Right? Larry must focus some on those spares.
That last one bounced out of the gutter to hit the 7-pin, but it's not going to count because it was in the gutter before it hit the 7-pin.
Not the winner rules today?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's a standard rule. Could this be 6 strikes in a row for this young man? Oh! See that?
Ouch.
Oh my! that was a bad break and a half. He's laughing about it, but wow, David, you did everything you were supposed to right there. That was a great shot. All right, we got a substitution in. It's Trevor Thompson for the Thunderbolts. Wow. Players like that on the bench, no wonder they could be having their 6th title. That was pretty awesome. Another 220 game for Lincoln Pius with 228 with a possible strike. David Ginwright looks like he makes his spares as well. He does his first ball. Covers the 7-pin. They're going to be in the 160s. But in our best 3 of 5 Baker competition, ladies and gentlemen, Pius is going to be out to a strong start. Now, we saw last week in the girls' side where our match went to 5. The girls' match in Class B, where the team got out to 2 right away. So it's not over yet. The fat lady is not getting out of her chair.
She's quiet so far.
Yep. Well, that was probably just a move by David there to kind of get a feel for the lanes. But through to the end of the 2nd game, it's official. Lincoln Pius with a 227 and York with a 163. That puts Pius out 2-0 in our best 3 of 5. So another win here by Pius, and they will be a 6-time state championship winner.
Some commanding wins there for them too.
Yeah,
and those are solid games.
And what's unique about it, because of where they are, and they're on the bubble when it comes to classification, one of those titles is the Class A championship. So, they don't mess around. Coach Putney has done a great job there in building a powerhouse, really. I mean, as much as, you hate to compliment the guy. I mean, you just got to kind of have to.
So he's going to hear this, don't you?
Yeah, well, that's okay. The Dukes, they should be proud of their effort. I mean, the fact here they ran, over Hastings to get here, and they beat them 3-2, and that was no easy task. So let's see if they can get going. And yes, the freshman Matt Peterson says, "Hey, if I have anything to do with this,
right? We're not out of this yet.
We're not out." So good for him.
Every game is a new game.
Well, Martin Berkey for the Thunderbolts has started with a strike both first 2 games. So will it be 3 for 3?
He's also very musically inclined. He's in the symphonic winds, a symphonic jazz band. So it's symphonic winds and the jazz ensemble replace the trombone.
Well, that's above my pay grade. That's for sure. All right, Colton a little bit wide. Leaves the 1-2-4-7. Colton, a smart student as well. 3.6 GPA.
He wants to go to the medical field, into cardiology. He fouls there.
Oh, a foul, ladies and gentlemen. So the foul indicator has gone off, and therefore those pins will not count. No spare. All right, Colton. Pius gave you a little bit of a break there with a foul. Oh, unfortunately, ball went back to the same spot as it did. But they have a 10-pin lead through the first frame.
And, you know, a foul is obviously a mistake that you don't want to make, but you really have to set it out of your mind and focus on, did I make the shot that I wanted to make? Because he has another frame coming up. And so as much as it's a frustration when something like that happens, you've got to focus on the positive side of it, on the shot and what you learn from the shot for your next frame coming up.
Well, Calvin, a good shot there. Leaves himself a 10-pin. Also a bright young man with a 3.7 GPA. And not to be outdone, Mr. Gage, an honor student this first semester of calendar year. So a lot of smart kids out here bowling today.
You know, we've been saying that all day today, that these are kids who are not only involved in bowling, they're involved in a lot of other activities as well, other sports, other extracurriculars, music, drama, and carry strong GPAs. A lot of these kids are in National Honor Society. We've got Rhodes Scholar.
Really?
Yeah, we've got a lot of very talented kids in a lot of areas.
All right, well, a good spare there by Mr. Gage. Keeps the match close. Pius up by 6 pins. All right, Alex Stoley. Ooh, avoids a little disaster there.
Absolutely.
Leaves the 6-10, so up by 2 now, Pius. Oh, there we go. Look at that shot.
There.
Yeah, he's
That's
into that.
momentum.
Great shot, Bryce. Bryce Logston there with a nice strike on the left lane.
Coach Gage says Bryce has the strength of conviction.
Bryce owns a 1966 Mustang.
I saw that. That's one of his hobbies, is to work on his Mustang.
He's older than me. Poor guy.
And he underlined he owns it. It's his.
Yes, that's great. He's on the honor roll as well. All right, David Jenwright, ignore that solid 7 you left last time. And yeah, that was great. Double by York. That helps them keep the match very, very close. They're only down by 2, but A.J. Putney would like to get a strike here to start the double string for Pius. Yeah, knocks out that 10 late. Calm, cool demeanor by A.J. Putney.
That's what you need.
Yeah, a long line of bowling people there in the Putney family, between Tyler and Brooke and now AJ. Larry.
That guy.
That guy. That's Jay Burnett, ladies and gentlemen, like to get a double for Pius. If he does, then they will keep their 2-pin lead as we're coming into the half point in our game 3 in our best 3 of 5 Baker competition. Lincoln Pius is up 2-0, and Jay Burnett does answer for the Thunderbolts, keeps them up by 2 pins as we're coming to the midpoint in game number 3. So let's set the stage as the team switch sides. Pius will be coming up on the left lane, finishing on lane 27. The Dukes will be on lane number 28. Freshman Matthew Peterson will be coming up for the Dukes. Martin Berkey, the senior, who comes from a long list of bowling family as well, including his
somebody I know,
Kim, and your former coach. His aunt bowled when I bowled for Nebraska.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So kind of gives you an idea of the history there in the Berkey family. So despite fouling in the first frame, he's behind the line that time, and it's a 10-pin. So a lot of pressure on this freshman, Matt Peterson. Would like to keep the Dukes in this. It's a pretty good shot. What do we think? Ooh.
Ouch.
Yeah, a little high. Leaves the 4-6-10. So we're now at a 4-pin difference in the match. Pius is up. Pius with a much easier spare opportunity in the 10-pin for Martin Berkey. Gotta go cross lane. Uh-oh. Oh.
Martin has a similar style to his twin sister.
Oh, yeah.
You can see that
You're
the arm
right.
swing is very similar.
You're right, actually. I hadn't thought about that until you just said that. And we saw her in last week's Class B match. 2 pins here would be great for Matt. If he can do that, he'll help keep them close, and that's not an easy task either. So, we're through 6 frames, ladies and gentlemen, and we have an 8-pin match. Lincoln Pius in the lead. If they can win this game, they will win their 6th in record Nebraska High School Bowling Championships. Calvin Schlotman, great shot. You do it too.
You need a player like that who can come off of a frame that was an open and be the one to turn it back around and not focus on the open that just happened in the frame before, but be the one who can make a good shot and turn the tide for the team.
You got to give it up for the Dukes. They're still fighting to the best that they can. It's a strong team, these Thunderbolts, but again, the Dukes beat a bunch of other teams to get here.
And as much as Pius wants to be the one to get that 6th state championship, I think Duke wants to be the one to deny them that 6th state championship.
Trevor Thompson stubbing in there for the Pius Thunderbolts, the senior, with a key strike in the 8th frame. Keep the lead, increase the lead actually for the Thunderbolts. Colton a little wide right there. Gives 99 pins to the Dukes in the 7th frame. Could expand to 32 pins with another strike if AJ Putney strikes here. She did. There's some emotion.
AJ was clean every frame this match.
Clean where it's at, you know. The Thunderbolt team's actually been done pretty well that way. William Gage with a strong strike there says we're not quite done yet.
Gage struggled on his first ball of the first game, but other than that, he's been clean. 8 spares and strikes.
Well, we're getting pretty much to a must-strike situation, ladies and gentlemen. Bryce Logstom, who struck last time in this game, needs to strike again here to keep the Dukes' chance. Looks pretty good. Yes. And he knew it, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
He knew that right there. So, where we're at, we have a 32 pin difference, which basically means that if Pius can mark here in the 10th frame with some good pin count, he's got to be a good pin count. If it's a bad split, like a 5 split, then anything's possible. But if a strike here will win it for the Thunderbolts and give them their 6th title. Jay Burnett, what's it going to be? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And they know it. That's going to be the one that's going to help seal it for the Pius Thunderbolts. David Ginwright fought a great effort for the Dukes. Nothing he should be ashamed of, or the Dukes in general.
No, not at all.
They fought against a very, very strong team. Beat the Tigers of Hastings to get here as well, so they should hold their heads up high. David Ginwright, that kid's going to have a future in this game if he continues to go forward.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he's off to some college program because the college team could use him for sure. All right, we're getting a junior in, Andrew Gibbs. First year ever bowling, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be a state champion just like that. And look at that. Pretty good shot for a first year player. Good for him. Well, the Dukes end up with a 152, and with a spare here, Pius will have 209, which will give them their 3rd game win and make them your Class B state champions, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Gibbs, the junior, throwing the last ball here for Pius.
Look at those smiles.
Understandably. They should be very, very happy. Well, that's okay. Doesn't matter. It's going to end up with a 207, and that's it. Lincoln Pius is your Class B state champion, ladies and gentlemen. They've done it. Title number 6. Congratulations to Coach Putney and the Thunderbolts. 207 to 152 in game number 3. All right, we'll be back with the awards presentation in just a moment. More on NET Television coming up next.
How did I let myself do it? You know, being disappointed in yourself.
You're trying to go to sleep and it's on your mind of why do I do it, why do I do it?
Because I know it's going to happen, and then I do it anyway.
Going from this ecstatic high to this regret.
You do feel silly because you could have walked away.
Feeling guilt and how stupid you could be, just feeling gullible.
You feel like you're an idiot, basically.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Baer Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation Boys Class B Finals. We just saw a very strong performance by Lincoln Pius, defeating York 3-0, 207-152 in the last game. We have a couple interviews that take place right now. I'm going to turn it over to Carla down in the lanes with Coach Putney and Jay Burnett.
All right, Jay, you are a senior. This is your back-to-back state championship. Tell me how this feels.
It feels pretty great. We came out there playing pretty good, and seniors really stepped up. And credit to York, they played really good. They forced us to have to make good shots.
Absolutely. Congratulations. And Coach Putney, you are now the coach who has brought a team to their first team to win 6 state championships. Tell me how that feels.
Surprising. I think, if beginning of this year, this was a team that could make it here. I'm not sure I would have believed that, but again, as Jay said, credit to York. I thought, they bowled extremely well, not only today, but yesterday to get here to knock off a Hastings team that might have been the best in the state. They bowled extremely well, but, I think the kids' commitment to a process was the importance here. Commitment to picking up spares, a commitment to getting better every day, because when we started, this was not a team that, we lost 3 matches this year, and that typically doesn't happen. So, to get to this point where they're in a situation to win a title, it's pretty special.
Well, Coach Jay Pius, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Carla. Some wise words there by Coach Putney and some great comments there by Jay Burden as well. Let's get the awards presentation started, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to turn it over to our public address announcer, Dwayne DeMood.
Let's have another round of applause for our 2 finalists. All right, your Nebraska Class B boys runner-up, the York High School Dukes. Coaches Brent Gage and Shauna Sweeney. Matt Peterson. Colton Rhodes. William Gage. Bryce Logston. David Ginwright. Gentlemen, here's your runner-up trophy. Congratulations to the York Dukes, your Class B Boys States runner-up. Now for your Class B Boys State champions, Pius X Thunderbolts. Coach Larry Putney. Berkey. Calvin Schlottman. Alex Stoley. AJ Putney. Jay Burnett. Andrew Gibbs. Trevor Thompson. Gentlemen, here's your championship trophy. Congratulations. Pius X Thunderbolts, your Class B boy state champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. That's your Class B state champions, Lincoln Pius Thunderbolts. They are your winner with a record 6 state championship. Don't go anywhere. We've got more high school bowling action coming up with the Class A boys competition. It'll be Lincoln Northeast versus Fremont. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. More high school bowling coming up on NET Sports.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Baer Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
For me, asking why is just getting started.
It's more than an activity. It's me doing what I love.
I'm not a stereotype. When I rewrite the rules, things get better.
I know that all these experiences matter.
These moments will help me become something more.
Little things always lead to something bigger.
Do it.
Track it.
Earn it.
What you're doing now will help you get scholarships later. Find resources from Education Quest at trackyoursuccess.org.
Well, you can get your copy of the 2017 Nebraska High School Girls and Boys Bowling Championships on DVD. It's offered by the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. I know I'll be getting mine. You can visit NHSBF.com and follow the links to preserve your state championship memories for a lifetime. Hey, also want to remind you, coming up in March, it's the best high school basketball teams in the state as they compete 6 different classes in games broadcast live on NET. The NSAA State Girls High School Basketball Championships will be broadcast March 4th, and the NSAA State Boys High School Basketball Championships on March 11th. Games begin at 9 a.m. Central both days and continue throughout the day. There's action in all classes, and you can visit netnebraska.org/sports for game times. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this final match of the day. The Class A State Championship on the line, and here is a senior-laden team, quite possibly the most talented team in the state of Nebraska, and they've got players, starting with Coach's kid, Tyler Sinovec. He's a special one. Jared Shepers, Bailey Vavra, Brandon Drews, Tyler Push, and the younger Sinovec, Trevor Sinovec, who says he only bowls because his mom and dad make him. Here's a look at Lincoln Northeast. Gary Vondra is the head coach, and 3 seniors on this squad as well. Nate Parson, as well as Jared Johns and Max Meyer, a freshman, and Matt Doman. And then 3 sophomores, Renzo Mendez, Chase Bolts, and Tim Mansfield. That's a look at the starting lineups for this next match between Fremont and Northeast. A title will be crowned when we come back in Class A. Stay with us.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Baer Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Whether it's spring planting, fall harvesting,
or just a drive across the state. Soy biodiesel helps a diesel-powered engine operate in a demanding job. Soybean oil from Nebraska soybeans makes biodiesel a renewable fuel that's also environmentally responsible. The soybean checkoff plays a major role in supporting the use and availability of biodiesel. The Nebraska Soybean Board, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Unlock your newest member benefit. Over 1,000 episodes of your favorite PBS shows. American Masters, Antiques Roadshow, Nature, Nova, Masterpiece. Watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere. Become a member, sign in, and start streaming today.
Keep connected to what's happening in your state government by visiting netnebraska.org/capital. Nebraska Capitol Live brings you daily coverage of important decisions that are happening from the floor of the legislature, Nebraska's courts, legislative hearings, and from the governor's office. Wherever you go, you can always stay informed with Nebraska Capitol Live at netnebraska.org/capital or on the free NET Nebraska app at netnebraska.org/apps.
We are back at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska for the Class A Boys State Championship. It's a showdown between Lincoln Northeast and the three-time defending state champions from Fremont, the Tigers. Tigers looking to become the second team to ever win 4 consecutive state titles. You might remember just a couple hours ago, it was North Bend knocking off Broken Bow, and North Bend became the first team in the state of Nebraska to ever win 4 consecutive. Well, Fremont says, wait a minute, we can do the same thing on the same day. Give us a chance here. Just a matter of timing might be the only difference between who was first. Brandon Drews with the shot there, the senior. Comes up a little bit high. This is tugged into the conditioner, but leaves a high 4-pin on the shot by Chase Bolts. And so here is Brandon Drews, the senior who averages 197. As he's their vocal leader and their spark plug. Tugs that just a bit.
Looks like maybe he's stuck a little bit on that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Slide.
So here is Chase Bolts, the sophomore. Averages 188, and that just hooked right by it as well. Well, there we go. Let's get the jitters out of the way right away. Here's Vavra. Bailey's got a little bit of hand in that and puts all 10 to rest. Now up on the right-hand lane, there is Tibin Mansfield. Just a weak 10, didn't quite finish as strong as he would have liked. Left-hand lane, Jared Sheppers, another senior, 196, most improved bowler on the team, according to Coach Terry Sinovic. Crossover and carry. That's good for a double. Ooh, so those are frustrating. We feel you there, Tibin. And jitters will be gone shortly. They think we pick that spare up 50 times a day in practice, and one time I'm on TV in front of cameras and lights, and I push it by it.
Absolutely.
Here's Tyler Push. Speaking of push, and he carries all 10 as well. So Tyler Push, 10 in the pit, 3-bagger for the Tigers. Up on the right-hand lane, here's Renzo Mendez. Renzo, a sophomore, averages 194. He has a simple but effective game. Renzo has good hand, plays up the boards, and just a solid player.
You know, on top of that, he talked about the strength of his game is his focus. He says, when I'm up there, it's only me, myself, the ball, the lane. I discard everything else from my surroundings and focus on what I need to do.
Here's Taylor Sinovic turning it up, and wow, he is just so much better than his dad ever was.
Now Larry.
Up on the right lane, Nate Parson. Up the boards, does he carry? And he does. Chips the 4-pin out. Northeast says not quite yet. We might have missed a couple of early single pins, but we can string a few here and get back into it. Here's a very talented young freshman. I had the opportunity to watch Matt bowl on a fairly regular basis, and just a solid game. A lot of hand in the ball. And look at how solid he is at the line. Just a really good-looking young player for just a freshman.
He's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah. See how solid he is at the line? And he's learning, you know, when he was younger, he wanted to cover boards all over the place. He's learning to get up the boards, learning to play up the lane, and he is just going to get better and better. Bright future. Sometimes
less is more.
Right, absolutely. But he's got the physical game that allows him to do that. That's the... So 3-bagger for Northeast and 4 in a row for Fremont. Up on the left-hand lane, here is Chase Bolts. Try to add to that. That needs to react. And that's a bad break. Didn't quite get the down lane reaction he wanted. Skidded a bit through his hook spot. So now up on the right-hand lane, here is Brandon Drews.
Brandon's got a high game of 289 and a high series of 780.
That pushes. He called push, and it did. 5 in a row for Fremont. Get it over there.
Favre up for Fremont is another one of those solid high game. 290 is his high game.
Bailey knew out of his hand that was left of target. Was hoping it would skid. Mansfield gets the carry. Now that was an important shot because they almost have to go off the sheet here, as they find themselves 43 pins down with 4 frames left, and that opens things up a bit. So maybe not. They could be right back in this with a strike here. Good young player here in Renzo Mendez. Talked about how solid his game is and just how up the boards he is. And I know that because he bowled in the Pius program for a while. Catholic Middle Schools League in Lincoln, and had the opportunity to watch and coach him. And he's a solid player.
Solid student, too. He carries a 3.7 GPA.
Good kid, just a good kid. There's Sheppers coming up a bit high. That leaves the 4-pin, but certainly doable there. And now an opportunity for Northeast to really get back in this. Carry it all goes. Cover it up and you still have the lead. So good call there. And now you have your 2 best bowlers coming up in 4 and 5 in Tyler Push and Tyler Sinovic.
The Tylers.
That's right. And here's Doman that'll try to add to that 3-bagger. Push. And it comes up a bit high, and that should be enough if they can stay clean in the 9th and 10th for Fremont to take game number 1, thanks to the 4-5-bagger in frames 2 through 6. Tyler Push, not only a bowler, but also a pretty good baseball player. He's headed to Newman University in Wichita, Kansas to play baseball next year. Newman has a nice little baseball program, good field right there on campus in the heart of Wichita.
Tyler's heading to Newman University, and he was planning on majoring in sports communication. Carries a 4.0 GPA and is a member of the National Honor Society.
So here is Tyler Sinovic, averages 220 on the year. That is Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Boy, he He gets a lot of hand in that, but most impressive is he is straight up through the back of the ball when he finishes. And so solid at the line.
Tyler finished 7th at Junior Gold in 2013.
And for
Not
those
bad.
who don't know Junior Gold, you might want to describe, because that's an impressive finish right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Junior Gold is a youth program similar to Team USA, but for youth bowlers. Right. So they travel around the world representing the United States at international youth events.
And it's literally the best players, the best youth players in the country
Absolutely.
are going to those Junior Gold events. And this young man right here finished 7th in that kind of tournament and with that kind of competition.
It's impressive.
Little move right there, I think. That was maybe like a 2-1 or 2-2 move right up the board, straightened it out a bit and flushed it. Hey, good time for you to connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. You can add a comment or catch up on the latest Nebraska sports information. Make sure to like NET Sports and Big Red Wrap-Up and join in the discussion. So I thought I'd let a bit of time pass before I commented on the previous comment on Terry Sinovec, because it was much more fun just to make fun of him than it was to actually explain why. Terry and I bowled together at the University of Nebraska for your former coach, Bill Straub. Bill has, you think about the footprint that Bill Straub has had on not only the state in bowling, but throughout the country, and it is one of the largest footprints in the nation. He has affected so many in the sport.
Absolutely. And you look at the women's side of collegiate bowling and what that has become. It became an NCAA sport in 2004. I was lucky enough to be in the team to win the inaugural NCAA championship and go back to back in 2005. But college bowling, where women's college bowling is really a credit to a lot of the work that Coach Straub put into making it what it is.
So you won back-to-back national championships, and the young man in the lane right now, this young man, Chase Bolts, his mother did the same thing.
Absolutely.
At Nebraska.
Absolutely. Prior to going NCAA in 2004, the Huskers competed in the Intercollegiate Bowling Championship, and so she's a 2-time Intercollegiate Bowling Championship national champion. But just as impressive of an accomplishment, such high level of competition, both in the IBC and in the NCAA.
His mother, Mandy Bolts. What a shot, straight at the boards, got the carry. Good ball by Tibin Mansfield. Now Fremont will try to answer with Bailey Vavra. And that picked up early. The Northeast could take a big lead here with the strike by Renzo. Just a bit light, maybe got a little quick. I don't think that was a move inside. And you're also going to, the one thing about this house pair, the house shot on this pair, because this is not the sport shot that the bowlers bowled on yesterday, which is exceedingly difficult. But this is a house shot that's out here now. It's a little easier to score. The one thing you will get out here under the lights, and as they continually strip and then re-oil the lane, is you'll get carry down on this lane before you actually get breakdown. And so even after one game or two games that have now been bowled on them, you'll start to get a little bit of carry down on these lanes, which means the ball is going to hook later, and you need to make that adjustment.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons you'll hear people say that lefties have an advantage. There's fewer of them, and so there's less carry down. Their lane, the oil on their lanes breaks down slower than a right-handed bowler, and so they don't have to make adjustments as quickly as right-handed bowlers do.
And so just to recap what you just said, you said that's why lefties have an advantage, right?
Sure.
Okay. So I want you to tell that tall guy down there that's the head coach for Fremont, make sure you explain that to him when we're done, all right?
Okay, I'll call it an advantage, maybe not the advantage.
That guy right there. He always maintained the lefties were just better.
Oh, is that how it is?
Well, that was his story, right? I love how engaged he is with his players, though. I mean, he is literally in the middle, and I think this is a credit to you know, the coaching that he received and the coaching that we both received from Coach Straub, there's always an adjustment to be made. You can learn from a great shot. You can strike, watch the ball through the pit, and you can learn from that shot and make adjustments and stay ahead of moves.
Absolutely.
And that's what Terry's so good at with these young bowlers, in addition, you know, to coaching the fundamentals.
And that's why as players get better, they start to pay more attention to what other players are doing as well, to look at their ball reaction, and they can start to predict adjustments that they need to make based on what's happening when other people are throwing the ball.
One of the things that we have even done at Pius is it's imperative that you know where you are on the lane and on the approach in relationship to every other bowler on the team. Because if somebody else is getting a strange reaction, it might impact what you do and how you need to move before you move.
It's also a reason why you want some of your most consistent bowlers to be your leadoff bowlers.
Absolutely.
So that you can get a good read on what's happening on the lane.
Absolutely. So here is Doman, covers it up. And the lead early on here is the Rockets. So here is Tyler Sinovic. Tyler's mom was a pretty good bowler too. She bowled at Nebraska as well. And that was an important strike right there, because now they have something working. Down by 26 in the fourth, can cut that to a 16-pin lead with a strike here by Brandon Drews.
Coach Sinovic talked about different situations that the Fremont boys have been in. He said that they, in matches against both Scottsbluff and Kearney, both of those matches came down to the last shot. That's definitely a high-pressure situation, but it's something that plays to your advantage in a situation like this, because you've been there before, where it's the very end. It's sort of that bottom of the ninth. Bases are loaded.
And no, it does not fall. Thought he had it, and Chase. Yeah, it's a good shot. I thought it might go too. And it goes on the edge of the pin. I'll respot that 5-pin. Ooh, that's a difficult miss right there, because you are already 26 in the hole. You're working on a strike in. That's 2 single pins now that Fremont has missed, and that's very, very characteristic.
And that's 3 opens for Brandon Drews.
Wow.
Strike on his other frame, but struggling to make spares.
That was a nice adjustment. Looked like maybe even a 3-2 move inside as he got a little bit deeper. Got the reaction he wanted, did not pick up early. Needs the crossover and got the carry. Yeah, sometimes a little luck comes into it. Mansfield got it there. Now what do you do with that? Can you take advantage of that as a team?
Jared Shepard's up for Fremont is another one who's got bowling in the family. His mom is in the Fremont Bowling Hall of Fame.
Big double there for Fremont. Find themselves down by 37 pins. An opportunity to double here for Renzo. And he got it just a little bit wide, but it gets back and carries. Wow.
Scoreboard doesn't tell you how pretty it was.
They don't ask how, they say how many. And the answer to that is 2 in a row. Here's push. I think if he has a high shot, they just yell push.
Yeah.
Think it confuses him? Probably not by now, right?
Push is the thing you say when the ball's starting to go high and you want it to just sit where it is.
That's right.
Just keep going.
Player this year who shall remain nameless earlier this year. About 4 shots in a row were coming up light and he kept yelling push. I said, well, why are you yelling push? he looked at me and said, well, because I wanted to strike. He didn't realize that there's a very definitive thing that
Right.
you want the ball to do when you say push. He just thought that's what you yelled when you wanted to strike.
It's coming up light. You don't want it to push.
That's right.
You want it to keep poking.
We had that conversation. All right, so 9 missed there. Still going to be tough for Fremont to get back into this one. 168, the best that Fremont can shoot if Sinovic goes off the sheet, and there's the first one. And really all the freshman Matt Doman needs to do here is get 6 pins on 2 balls. And Northeast will have tied it, and that'll do it right there.
One thing you notice about these boys, they're throwing the ball at 17, 18 miles an hour down the lane. These are loud, crashing strikes that they're getting.
Right. Yeah. Fremont wins game 1, 210 to 184, but game 2 will go to the Rockets of Lincoln Northeast. This is the first appearance in these state championships for the Rockets since 2006 when they were the runner-up. Lincoln Northeast won the title in 2004 over Papio La Vista South. Tony Vondra, one of the coaches of this Northeast team, was on that 2004 championship team. So not only is he a former state champ as a bowler, now he's trying to lead his team back to a state championship.
You saw Matthew not go for any of the count on that that big split that he left. He was checking his strike spot again.
Yeah.
I think he might have switched balls, but great opportunity when the pin count doesn't matter anymore. Who cares about getting extra pins? Find your shot, so that when your first ball comes up again, you sort of get a free practice shot right there, right?
You learn from it. Yep. So here's Drews, and Drews gets the carry. One thing you will get here at Sun Valley Lanes is those lights hit will tend to mix up very active sidewalls. Here at the home of John Lucido. I think he has a bed in the back office. I think he lives here.
That's where he keeps his throne.
That's right. Yeah, I heard about the leprechaun comment. That was very nice of him.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, I'll have to watch the tape later, and I'll be the judge of that, I guess. There is John. Thought he had it. Right at it.
It's a tricky spear to make. You have to hit it just right.
Yeah. Jared Shepard's up on the left-hand lane. So Fremont has started off here in game number 3 with a double, trying to make it 3 in a row. Climb the hill, and he got the mix. Big shot there for Shepard's. And Lincoln Northeast with an open in the first. And then leaves the bucket on the left-hand side, and that's what we were talking about before. You may begin to see some carry down. These balls today, though, they're so good at picking up that oil and moving and displacing it. Different kind of game. There's Tyler Bush with the strike. 4 in a row for the Tigers. And that's what this team can do. They can get behind, but boy, they can light it up pretty quickly. You might feel like you're just kind of cruising along and strolling and clean and have a 20-pin lead, and they'll drop a 4-bagger on you before you can blink. Big shot. Sinovic makes it 5 in a row.
Now, Fremont lost 4 players last year to collegiate bowling. Graduated some seniors who went on to bowling college, and it says a lot about the quality of the coaching in their team.
Absolutely. That looked like a move inside there. I'm not sure if that was a move inside or just maybe tugged it inside a bit, but it came up high. Lincoln Northeast right now will be in no hurry to execute these next 2.5 frames. Why be in a rush when you're struggling to find a mark and your opponent has dropped a 5-bagger, right?
Absolutely. Take your time.
Yeah.
That also gives Fremont a little time to sit and think about what's going on and play mind game a little bit with Fremont. Give them some time to sort of fester in thinking about their next shot.
Well, there is sportsmanship, which is always highly encouraged and important, but there's also gamesmanship, which is every bit as important.
Absolutely.
Well, here is the freshman who averages 204.
And remember, in his last shot, he just had that free practice shot, so we'll see if this pays off for him.
And he did make a move inside, and that still picked up a bit early for him. That reaction there through the nose almost to me looks like maybe even a zone change, where this isn't just a 3-2 move inside. You might be looking at a 5-3 or 7-5. Let's get inside to a different zone.
Completely playing a different part of the lane.
Absolutely, yep.
Which is a scary thing to do as a player when you don't have a practice shot on it.
You're not kidding, yeah. A good job to cover up the 2, but right now it is a commanding lead for Fremont. If they throw the next 2, it's a 75-pin lead. Fremont could have 150 in the 5th with one more strike, and Northeast has 75, so a big advantage. But if it can get that out of hand in 5 frames, it can just as easily flip the other way the next 5. And that's what that's what Bolts was trying to start there for the Rockets.
Brandon Drew is graduating this year and is planning on going into business management.
Comes in a bit high. And a good cover. Gary and Tony Vondra, the coaches of this Northeast squad, they have just 7 solid bowlers, and their team unity is outstanding. Their only real weakness is this is a young team, and it is young. 3 sophomores and a freshman.
And their assistant coach, Tony, said that despite them being so young, it's the most cohesive team he's ever had. And the fact that they have 7 bowlers, they've been able to play everybody throughout the season, which really tells you how deep this team is.
You know how important it is to have good team unity, team cohesiveness, infighting. All of those things can affect performance. Maybe not always outwardly, but absolutely has an impact on how successful a team can be.
100%. It's a unique sport in that you're bowling as a team, but there's not much you can do for each other in the way of making up for when somebody else is struggling, except to be there mentally for that person. But physically, you can't do anything. So it's a sport that really it can play with your head a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Came in a bit light, left the 7-pin. Did Mendez. .164 in the 7th. Still, I believe, a commanding enough lead here that that's not going to hurt the Tigers in this game. But certainly want to get those things figured out, and already Coach Sinovic is having a chat with his player to determine what at this point it might be a ball change, and that's another scary thing to do in the middle of a match.
Absolutely, absolutely, to trust that what you're changing is going to work.
Yep. That's got a push, and it does. There's a good example of a push, and Shepard's got it.
And it's coaches like Coach Sinovic that really help develop players in that he's not just a cheerleader back there, right?
No.
He's helping them improve their game, and every time they practice, he's working on small little tweaks and fundamentals to help them become better bowlers.
He's really engaged, absolutely engaged. We talked about this, last week during the girls broadcast, but it's worth mentioning again what a tremendous impact a good coach can have on a high school bowling team. And I think we've seen it across different programs within the state. Those that all of a sudden haven't been good for a while and they have a coaching change, and all of a sudden that program slowly starts to build and has tremendous success. And it's likely because of the impact that outstanding coaches can have on programs.
Absolutely. Developing those physical games is so key, and it opens the doors for some of these players who may have the talent to go on and bowl in college.
Right. Understanding lane play, getting the kids in the right part of the lane is so important, not just the fundamental work you do day in and day out in practice, but when you get into competition, knowing how to get your player into the right part of the lane so they can be successful. Now, I'm not suggesting at all that Terry Sinovic knows how to do any of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
Ooh, that came in just a bit high. Picked up early. Well, they're going to win this one. 206 already on the board for Fremont. 173 is the best that Northeast can shoot here. So 208 for Fremont in game number 3. They shot 210 in game 1. Picked up a win there. Shoot 208 here and also pick up a win. 171 for Lincoln Northeast. So 2 games to 1.
Lincoln Northeast has stayed pretty consistent as far as their score. 184, 179, 171 there. They're staying consistent.
Rockets ready to go here for game number 4, and it's an important one for them as they find themselves down 2 games to 1 here in this Class A state championship. The Fremont Tigers trying to become only the 2nd team ever to win 4 consecutive state championships. The only other team to do it earlier today, it was North Bend, winning its 4th in a row. And it might be worth mentioning, I think there's only one team that's ever won 6 state championships.
Do you know who that team is?
I have to go back through my notes and check that out. Oh, wait, they're right here. It's Pius X Boys.
Oh, do you know them? You have a little something to do with that.
That was very weak. I apologize. It was a bit shameless. Good cover there. There we go. I don't know if that was a ball change or a move, but that was certainly a much better reaction for Bailey. Good shot there. Chase Bolts. And now Shepherd tries to make it 3 in a row. How many times has Fremont opened the game with a string of strikes? They did it in the first. They had 5 in a row. This game 3. They had 4 in a row.
You jinxed him.
I did. Mendez looking for the double. Got it. Good solid shot for Renzo Mendez. I don't think he started off this year planning to bowl. In fact, he was not going to bowl this year. He was going to take the year off, but he told us, he said, I'm really not bowling for myself this year. This is really about my teammates and my family and my friends. He says he plays basketball for Northeast and also looking forward to the soccer season, but he's really not doing this for myself, is what he said, but I'm doing this for my teammates, the peers, and the coaches who really wanted me to bowl and help them out. And he's certainly doing that here today.
Show some great character, too. He also says he's a great dancer.
No, I have not.
Maybe if they get a win, we'll see that.
There you go. I know a lot of people who thought they were good dancers. There's push. That's a good shot. Spare here, and we are all even. There it is. 68 all in the third. Both teams with the double. And now an opportunity with a strike by Sinovic to take the lead. Did not quite get the carry. Threw everything at it. He did make a ball change and rattles the 10 pin. We talked about that. Do you make the ball change or do you make a zone move? And that's a ball change for Matt Doman.
And I think that's one thing too that is maybe a little bit case by case on the player of how confident they're going to be and how willing they are to take that risk to make a ball change or to change the zone that they're using on the lane. Some players that wouldn't rattle them, and some players that would just be a lot to take on.
So we flip sides in game number 4. Fremont on top 2-1, and Fremont leads it by 1 pin.
Impressive start for both of these teams, both staying clean through the first 5 frames.
So Brandon Drews back up. Doesn't get that 4-pin to trip. Not a bad shot, just a bit high. Good break there, got out of trouble, did Tibbin Mansfield.
Like a lot of the players that we've seen throughout this tournament, Tibbin is one who also is involved in other activities. He's also on the soccer team and the football team.
Yeah. And a good cover by Drews. This is essentially a 5-person team for Fremont. Certainly Trevor Sinovic, freshman, is on the team to help out if needed, but Terry Sinovic said that their weakness may be a blessing and that the starting 5 bowl almost all of the time. I don't know, he's got Trevor Sinovic sitting down there who averages 203. That's not too bad, right?
Deep team.
Yeah, it is a deep team. Talented team, very talented.
Chase Bolt's not sure where he wants to go to college. He's only a sophomore, but is thinking pre-med is what he's going to want to go into.
Wow. Hang on. Well, that will open it up right there.
First open of the game.
And now if Chase Bolts can pick this 10-pin up, they'll have a lead. Hung up on it, but picked it up. Didn't quite get out of that the way he wanted to, but picked it up, and that's right now the difference. 10-pin lead, thanks to that spare.
Not sure that's the way he wanted to pick that up, but picked it up nevertheless.
That's a great shot by Sheppers in a key situation. Now you have a feeling that Fremont, if they're going to get back in this, is going to have to string some together. As you know, Mendez will be around the pocket. That's pretty much around the pocket.
Their shirts say rocket to the pocket.
Oh, we might be heading to a game number 5 here.
Tyler has 2 299 games and a high series of 770. Those 299 games are just heartbreaking.
Yeah, you're not kidding. That's a big shot right there and almost locks it up for Northeast. So Fremont takes game number 1. Northeast comes back and takes game number 2. Fremont responds with the win in game number 3, and here we are in game number 4, and this is all Rockets. 193, the best that Fremont can shoot. And with that strike right there, that's already 200 plus. 204 even if he didn't throw another shot. Sinnebeck now making sure he's lined up and dialed in because he knows he's going to need it when they get to game 5.
Just the kind of setup you want for a championship match. Teams going back and forth. I win, you win, I win, you win. Makes it exciting.
Yeah. Doman's getting dialed in. Sinnebeck likes that shot. Ripped a 10-pin. 183 or thereabouts will be the final total for Fremont. Lincoln Northeast is going to shoot 234. 234 for Lincoln Northeast. Nice finish for the Rockets. And we are all even.
We talked about the consistency that Lincoln Northeast had, that they were hovering around the 170s and 180s. If you're going to change that pattern of scores, this is the way you want to change it.
Hey, you can get your copy of the 2017 Nebraska High School Girls and Boys Bowling Federation Championships on DVD, offered by the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Just go to NHSBF.com. Follow the links to preserve your state championship memories for a lifetime. Well, what a great one we have to finish things out here in Class A. Expected really no less between two very talented teams. That needs to climb the hill, and it does, and kicks that 7 out. And Fremont strikes first.
You just saw Coach Tony Vondra for Lincoln Northeast come over and tell us, guys, calm down, stay calm. One more game.
Crosses over, doesn't get the carry. So last year, maybe, well, I shouldn't say maybe, in what was without question the most exciting state championship match we have ever televised on NET and has ever been played in the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. It was this Class A state championship between Fremont and Lincoln Southeast. They went to a game 5. They tied in game 5 and went to a sudden roll-off in which each bowler bowls one shot, and you just keep bowling until someone outscores the other. And it went to 5 bowlers.
That's amazing.
Remarkable. And Fremont ended up winning it in a sudden win roll-off.
It's one of those things you want to say for a job interview question. Tell me about a time you've been under pressure.
Yeah.
You pull that story out of your back pocket.
Bolts with the strike. Big shot by Bolts. Needed that one as Fremont had started out with 2 in a row. And now Sheppers needs to convert on the 10-pin. Get out there, got it. And this is where you really want to see one of these teams go win it. You know, you don't want to see mistakes. Stay clean, make good shots, and somebody go win it.
Absolutely. You don't want it to be something that was handed to you.
Absolutely.
You don't want it to be something that was a messy win.
Yeah. Mendez tugs that inside a bit, but gets that 5-7 to slap out of there. Mendez talks about those who've impacted and affected his game the most. Says Ron Phillips and Tyler Putney have helped him with the physical game. Dwayne DeMode has helped him with the mental side. He's got a few good coaches right there working with him. Here is Nate Parsons. Northeast on a double. Can take the lead right here. Needs to sit, goes a bit high. Work to do there with the 3-6-10. And now an opportunity for Fremont to regain the lead if Sinnebeck can double up here. Likes it. And why wouldn't he?
One of the things that Coach Gary Vonder of Lincoln Northeast talked about was that these boys come in and practice one-on-one with each other. They put in their own time, even when they're not required to be there practicing, and they choose to go in together and go head-to-head with each other.
Nate Parson with a good cover there. Maybe not the way he would draw it up again, but it was effective. Got the job done. And so now it is a 10-point advantage for Fremont. And the freshman, Matt Doman, would love to get back on a strike here and give an opportunity to double. Good shot. Is it going to finish? It did. Came back and kicked out that 2-8. Not sure that was coming back halfway down there, but it made a left turn.
It made it. Expect to hear these teams and this crowd get louder and louder with every frame.
You see the two coaches here up, firing up their players. What a great finish here in Class A. This is a fun one. Mansfield. All right, a 2-8 left. Now this is a key shot here because a strike here is going to put them up by 20. This would be a big three-bagger here for the Tigers. The shot by Drews, got it! Big ball by Brandon Drews, and that gets everybody up off their seats. And a fist pump as well, and now an important spare here. Get over, doesn't quite get there by Mansfield. All right, so a bit of calming needed here on the side of the Northeast Rockets. Let's see if Bailey can throw one more on that three-bagger. Good shot, picked up early. Thought that was going to skid a bit more down the lane. And got the mix. That's exactly what Bolts needed right there. And now Bobber needs to have this to maintain that 21-pin lead and maybe even grow it to 30. Good cover. No chop there.
Just about.
Oh, Chop City. That is now a 32-pin advantage with that spare. Lincoln Northeast working on a strike. They can cut that back to 20 with a strike here. Came in a bit high. So right now the goal of the Tigers has to be make good shots and cover up our spares. We've got a 30-pin lead. Let's make the Rockets come get us. All right, right around it. Nothing hurt there. Pick up the spare and you're still in good shape.
I think one of the mottos every team has to have, and we talked about this earlier, is strikes win games, but spares win championships.
Absolutely. And the team that has not had an open this game is Fremont. Hang on. So that cuts that lead to 19. Fremont's still in control. But a strike here is what Nate Parsons needs.
Good
Didn't
shot.
quite finish. Just that weak 10 where you see that 6 fall right in front of the 10 pin. And if you watch the ball through the pit, it doesn't finish through the pit. Ball takes a little bit of a right turn. We talked about being able to learn things even on good shots, even on strikes. It's the kind of things you look for to help you make adjustments. So here's Tyler Push. Push up the boards.
It's one of the reasons, too, that you want to make a good shot, because if you pull your arm swinging away you don't want to, or your foot sticks, or whatever happens, it's hard to make a judgment on what adjustment you need to make. So it's the importance of having solid fundamentals so that you can make those decisions.
So good cover there by Parson. And Push would love to convert this, and he doesn't. So back-to-back opens for Fremont, and this has tightened up a bit. It's now a 9-pin game. Now certainly, Sinovac still controls the outcome. He can step up, throw 3, and it's a state championship for Fremont. But you know that the freshman Matt Doman would love to put some pressure on with a strike right here. This could cut it to 9. Big shot by the Rockets. That was the one he had to have.
You know, hearts are pounding on both sides.
Oh my gosh. And so now, not a must strike here, but if he wants to control his own destiny and the team's destiny, this is a must strike for Tyler Sinovic. He's got to finish. Oh, beautiful shot. Beautiful shot by Sinovic. And so talking about must strikes, this is a must strike for Doman. Matt Doman must strike here or we're done. And we're not done yet. We are not done yet. 204 possible for Lincoln Northeast, and they're going to shoot 2-0 something. Now the question is, we could have a tie here because if Sinovic doesn't strike here, if Sinovic does not strike here, then they have a possible 203. Doman with 9 pins would have a 203. And this would take us right back to last year and what we just talked about, which was a sudden death. Now, that can all be avoided if Sinovic strikes right here. And this ball is for a 4th consecutive state championship.
You hear him saying no, 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 no.
And this, now for the freshman Matt Doman, he needs 10. And if he strikes here, this will be the Rockets' first state championship since 2004. It's been more than 10 years since the Rockets have won a state title. A strike here, and they've got it. State champs, the Rockets!
Look at that excitement.
And what a finish for Lincoln Northeast.
That freshman Matt Doman has quite a career ahead of him.
Big shots and big moments for the freshman, and the final could not be any closer. 204 to 203 in the 5th. And you see the reaction from Tyler Sinovic. What a finish here in Class A. When we come back, we'll chat with the champs right here on NET Sports.
How did I let myself do it? You know, being disappointed in yourself.
You're trying to go to sleep and it's on your mind of why do I do it, why do I do it?
Because I know it's going to happen, and then I do it anyway.
Going from this ecstatic high to this regret.
You do feel silly because you could have walked away.
Feeling guilt and how stupid you could be. Just feeling gullible.
You feel like you're an idiot, basically.
All right, college visit number 2. Here we go. What?
College visit.
Learn more from Education Quest at govisitcollege.org.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Baer Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Class A Finals is in the books, and in a exciting and deciding 5th game, it was Lincoln Northeast 204-203 over Fremont. Let's go down in the lanes to Carla Vandermeer.
Matt, first of all, congratulations. You are a freshman who was bowling the 10th frame for your team. You had to strike out these last 2 games, and particularly this last game for the win. Talk to me about the pressure in that situation and how you handled it.
There was a lot of pressure. I took a lot of deep breaths, and I just knew what I had to do and tried to get it done.
Took just enough deep breaths. Congratulations. And Coach, how do you prepare your players for a high-pressure situation like this?
Well, this year's team's been under a lot of pressure, and they've done really well. We've been bowling a lot of extra tournaments, and it's helped them out a lot. It's just, they've got it. They're a tight-knit group, and they've done really well. They stick up for each other. When one goes down, the other steps up. So.
Absolutely. Well, it worked out well for you. Yes. Congratulations. Larry, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Carla. Congratulations once again. An outstanding season for both of these teams. The Northeast Rockets, the Class A state champs, and for Fremont, another terrific championship that gets them right back here to Sun Valley Lanes for the title. And now for trophy and medal presentations, let's go to our public address announcer. Here's Dwayne DeMode.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause. Now for your Class A boys, runners-up, the Fremont Tigers. Coach Terry Sinovic. Brandon Drews. Bailey Vavra. Jared Shippers. Tyler Push. Tyler Sinovic. Trevor Sinovic. Gentlemen, here's your runner-up trophy. Congratulations once again to the Fremont Tigers, your Class A boys runner-up. Now for your Nebraska Class A boys state champions, the Lincoln Northeast Rockets. Coaches Tony and Gary Vondra. Tibin Mansfield. Chase Bowles. Nate Parson. Renzo Mendez. Matt Dolman. Max Meyer. Jared John. Gentlemen, there's your championship trophy. Congratulations to Lincoln Northeast Rockets, your 2017 Class A boy state champion.
Well, congratulations one final time to the Rockets. They are the state champs in Class A, the first time since 2004. It's been a long wait for those young men, but they are state champs. Also, congratulations today to Humphrey St. Francis, who won it in Class D. North Bend, the champs in Class C. In Class B, it was Pius 10th with another state title. And once again in Class A, the Rockets finish it out and go home state champs. So that will do it for our boys state championships. I'm Larry Putney for Carla Vandermeer and for our entire NET Sports production crew. Thanks so much for joining us here at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Until next time, we'll see you back here on NET Sports.
We buy smartphones. We buy clothes. We buy game consoles and TVs, tickets to movies, concerts, and sporting events. It's kind of funny. We buy all these things to make us happy, when really all we need is each other. A place where we can all connect and get away for a while. Wouldn't that be nice?
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Baer Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.